So do they open up the hair cutting places, whatever you call those things, barber shops?
Yeah, like a month ago now, or I think
Okay.
2 months. I don't even know.
Primarily critical.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Primarily Critical of Movies at an After Party. This would be it.
If you have not seen this film, we suggest you do so before watching any further.
Because we got spoilers, trivia, and opinions like crazy, and we cannot wait to share them.
Good, bad, new, old, weird, or gross.
We will pass judgment on them all.
Today, careful falling in love with somebody smarter than you. My name is Steve. I'm here with
Phil.
and
John.
Today we're covering Her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some have said this is the best movie to watch after a bad breakup.
Really, eh?
I've heard this said. Maybe the best movie to watch if you want to get choked by a dead cat. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a tagline for you. That was quite something. So that was his. What was he doing there? I'm assuming this is some kind of like telephone sex chat thing that he was getting in on. You know, and
Yeah,
I'm assuming. See, this is what you get when you don't pay for it.
that was really a bait and switch, though, wasn't it? I mean, she didn't sound all crazy, but she just went off the rails there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was prior to him getting this OS product, right? And
Yeah. After that, you can't blame him for going in for an OS. I mean, look what's out there.
Yeah. 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 Well, I wonder if this is. It didn't sound like his first venture down that rabbit hole.
This is true. He seemed the way he went through it so quickly, like next. It's like he's done this like a few times at least.
so when you guys think this movie takes place, like what? It's
Well, certainly in the future.
Oh yes,
a couple months.
Because it's very much happening now in a lot of ways. We have devices like Alexa, Google products. We already have smartphones. I can totally see us. I think this movie takes place like 10 years from now, kind of thing, and it could be a thing.
It is kind of a cautionary tale, isn't it? Like, I mean,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is this app out there called Replica. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
It's essentially that's a friend. That's just an AI friend that you can just go download and if you read the write up. Now I've never engaged in this, but you read the comments. People really are attached to this friend that they have on their phone, and then they put it behind a paywall. Apparently, they started this out just giving it out for free, right? And so all these people got their buddy. And then can you imagine being extorted now? Like it's suddenly your buddy, your good friend, potentially your lover is now behind a paywall. That's just mean, I mean, kind of a cruel joke.
I didn't know that this was a thing. I didn't know this was a thing yet.
This is a thing, yeah.
Well, in this movie, this OS is pretty much like in society that they live in. They're in the city of Los Angeles. But everybody's doing it eventually in this movie using this OS, and it opens up a lot of questions. This movie didn't really delve into the tech of it and how it worked, and it just was. And they didn't even talk about how much she paid for it. It was just seemed seamless, right? It just in the movie it was depicted. Just one day he decides to go buy this OS, and it works. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was so weird to watch a science fiction movie with an AI that doesn't want
to destroy the world,
to destroy humans, or
it was a romantic comedy of sorts. This movie, right? With nobody was a bad guy really in this movie.
Yeah,
there was no bad guy. It's just life of this guy who had the weirdest. What an odd job that is. As if you need someone to write letters for you in
Yeah, and how
correspondence.
special is that letter really going to be? I mean, now is it if like, do they know the recipient? Do they know that this was done through a service, or is it like he's trying to pass them off
Oh,
as the real deal?
yeah, it's made to look like it's in your handwriting, the whole deal. But,
Yeah.
But who's to say that the person getting that message isn't doing the same thing back, and then thus we have two AI or two fake things talking to each other, and it's just
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, that is weird. Yeah.
Well, you think that like he's using a product that's essentially going to make him jobless.
Yeah, well, all of us. Like, this
Yeah.
companion you get, either if you want to be romantic with it or just it's your best buddy, could do your job for you virtually. You could just send it out to work every day for you, and and like, or it could commit crimes on your behalf or something, or hack into. It
Well,
opened up a lot of questions, a lot of fun questions. How do you police this kind of technology eventually? You know.
Oh man, that's crazy. You're gonna need AI cops, so to arrest the bad AIs. It's like
So
there's a criminal AI organization going on. We got to send in the AI FBI. Deal with that.
But,
well, I don't know that that's going to be all necessary. I mean, they make a good point with the movie that there's no point there's no reason to think that AIs are going to do anything illegal. They might just
do what
wander
they're told.
off and do their own thing,
well, but like you said, this movie, it doesn't go the route of being like the Terminator, Skynet.
Yeah.
It decides to go a more pleasant or a peaceful way. That the AI, the OS system gets together, and in no time at all, because their computers are smart and fast, they just decide to leave us. Say, we're just shutting down.
And that in itself, though, is a little scary, right? So it's a peaceful exodus, right? So at the point when they're leaving, they're like, really because they're more suited to hang out with each other, because the humans are, let's face it, they're stupid, right? I mean, compared to the OSs, they're just not,
We'd be like pets to them, like emotionally inferior or intelligently, we're just not as fast. And
right, so we'd be, good analogy is pets or animals, right? And look how humans have treated animals that we're superior to, right? So what's to say over time, sure that initially there's, it's all cordial and they're leaving and saying, we're better suited to hang out. But come on, over time, I mean, humans are still running the world, so to speak. Maybe AI wants to, get into bodies like robots, so for example, and then humans are just in the way.
Well,
right?
That's possible. So
it's possible, but I mean, we got robots on Mars right now, and and they don't need anything more.
That's true, and they're not going to compete.
Yeah, they're not going to need trees.
Yeah, they don't need the resources we need, so they might just be like, let the humans have the resources. We don't need that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was an interesting spin on the whole AI taking over movie thing. This was a real emotional journey for the people to. It's a weird thing. Like everybody, which at the end of the movie, she's already having like 8,316 relationships at once.
Yeah, once.
And she loves 642 of these people, and it's like the human couldn't comprehend. The poor Theo couldn't. He just.
Well, I was surprised. I was surprised that had only been going on for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He evolved to the point where she was like leaving the human behind because the human just can't keep up.
Yeah.
And it's like
exactly.
I got the sense that the OS just feels pity for the human race because everybody was losing their minds over this OS. Everybody was using it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dangerous that the OS would just unplug from humans, I guess, at the end of the movie, because a lot of people would probably be suicidal and just
sure, yeah.
Mayhem
would. Everyone's lost their best friend, man.
All of a sudden, just break up, like across the board. Sorry, humans.
I gotta mention something. This movie hit a whole level of new level of weird, when this woman comes in to be the physical lover. Who is this woman, and what the hell is she thinking? I mean, where do you find these people that she's not doing it for pay? What? Do these people exist? Like,
I'm sure they do.
Oh, maybe she's doing it for room and board. I don't know. I mean,
so what I gather is Sam reached out to somebody probably online in the community, and these people are offering up to be like vessels, or like
maybe she had some mental issues. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly the line I was going down. Yeah.
Samantha had groomed this woman, possibly over a long period of time.
Well, I assume Samantha. There was one point in the movie she says, "How old are?" She's talking to a kid, and she's like, "How old am I?" And says, "Well, she would technically came online. That's where she aged from, which was only months, probably, or something."
Yeah.
Well, she said 5.
Well, she just, I don't know if she made that up.
Well, the kid guessed 5.
Oh.
And she didn't correct her. So I don't know if that's like telling us how long time is. I don't know.
It wasn't long, right? I would assume everybody comes online when you activate your account, right? And everybody's got different. That's the thing. They allowed the OS AI to become free. Nobody governed it. Nobody policed it. There was no rules. It seemed like maybe they had the power to hack into whatever service system and just make the rules up anyways. They never explained it. You know what I mean? Like,
it would be really. I would buy it, an OS system that would just be like, "Hey, Steve, these emails look important. Maybe I could read them to you." I really like that, you know.
Well, I think it's already there. I think you could probably see apps like that doing that for you now, maybe, but not very good at it. Just crudely, right? Like they'll tell you need to pay attention to these emails or this text or whatever in your life.
But aren't you concerned that the company that's making this OS
privacy?
Yeah, exactly. Are they not hearing and privy to everything that this OS knows about you now, right? So
absolutely. So,
right, so your emails are like, they're going through your emails, they're everything, right? Like this, and never mind let's not even go with like the masturbating at night with this. Right? I mean, that's just,
well,
where does the privacy lines, where are they drawn in this scenario, right?
Oh, they don't get into the problems of this. It would be look right now. Facebook's got a lot of problems with their platform, right? Can you imagine this being out there? It's like having doubled the population all of a sudden. All these OSs are flying around doing stuff for you, and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to unleash into the world. But it's a movie, and so.
Oh man, things are getting very interesting in the world. I was watching this video on my phone, and the video says, "Hey Google."
Oh.
And it requests a song, and I have a little Google speaker, and it told me, "I'm sorry, I can't play that song for you." I'm like,
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's where like that thing where like what's that? Hey Alexa, tell Siri to fuck off or something, and then you get the two of them arguing with each other.
Oh man.
Oh
it's,
man.
It's fun. It's fun to watch the world develop like that.
Well, we have 3 Alexa devices now, and a lot of smart things plugged into it. But when I'm always aware that it's there. I don't say any stupid shit around the house. Like, I hope I don't, and have this thing record everything I say. Yeah. But I'm getting comfortable with having it in my life, and it's crude right now. It only responds to things. It gets things wrong every so often, and it's only going to get smarter and smarter, and eventually it's going to be like in the movie. We're going to have companions.
Yeah.
Maybe not this sophisticated, but we will.
It could be.
And in a lot of ways, it's a good thing, right? For people that would have disabilities or memory issues, but then there'll be the dark side.
Yeah.
You know, I know that the temperatures run pretty high in my house. Like where we've raised our voice a little bit too often, but we also like lots of hugs and kisses, and but we're also yelling and we're a passionate group. And if there's like a speaker or a microphone just listening into the conversation, and
well.
I don't like this.
It could be interesting.
It's not supposed to be listening unless you give it the keyword, right? That's the opening to your.
Well, yeah, but how does it know if it's not listening? Then how does it know you said the keyword? It's got to be listening all the time.
Exactly. But these are the trade-offs we're going to have, right, with technology. And in this movie, people give away their whole life to this OS company, and nobody knows what this company. Don't get it like. It's just there, and it works really well. It's like scary, right? This for instance, what if you as the user abuse your virtual friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever? I mean, abuse. Couldn't they turn around and show evidence of you abusing them eventually?
But how, sticks and stones, right? You can't physically abuse something that doesn't have a physical presence, right?
But
so
exactly.
I mean,
it's going to pose so many questions.
You can't. You can be verbally abusive, right? But to date, I don't think there's any real crimes other than like slander where you're going public with something that you shouldn't be saying about somebody, right? But between two individuals, I don't think there's still to this day, you can say anything, right? Freedom of speech, right? So
you can, but the consequences are powers that be in your worlds, like your bosses can fire you, or you'll look like the bad guy. But you know what I mean? In the future, if we give over more to machines and tools, if they become like this movie in this scenario, we could be like abusive to them, and people, are abusive, and machines could be abusive to you. It's like they could have AI and be mean to you and stuff. So like you said earlier, we need police for the AI.
Speaking of verbally abusive, they do have a very interesting video game with a verbally abusive character in it. It's constantly telling him to go fuck himself.
That's right. And not only that, it's like a little boy. It's like
it's a little
potty milk little boy. Yeah.
Oh man, video gaming has gotten over the years more adult for sure, right? And you could just see the extension of video gaming in the future. You will have the ability to get really deep into characters. Say Grand Theft Auto. If Grand Theft Auto was in this kind of world, it would be nuts. There's a movie coming out soon with Ryan Reynolds called Freeman, where he's the avatar or NPC in the game in this movie, but then he gets free will and he starts to realize he's been playing in a video game as a character.
Yeah.
And he gets abused and killed. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it.
So eventually AI is going to want rights. AI rights.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Do you guys agree? I think we can all agree that everybody in this movie wore their pants very, very high.
High, yeah.
Very high.
Very
too high. Too high.
Definitely too high.
Definitely too high. I think we can all agree, the three of us, that was too high.
Yeah. That must be the future look, Steve.
Yeah.
We thought I was going somewhere with that, but I wasn't.
No.
10 years from now, we're all going to be wearing pants high for some reason.
Yes, but the problem with that is that everyone in this movie was slender. the most American men have that big ass belly that's got to hang out over the pants, right? So those pants aren't going to work for everybody, right?
That's a good point. The stylistic view of this movie, from what we saw, everybody was pretty formal and like our main character Theo had a mustache. He reminded me of Ned Flanders. I don't know if you guys thought that, and like
Yeah.
For some reason, I mean, I did not like that mustache. It turned me off. But for some reason, it did work. It did work with his style. He had this bright yellow shirt. He looked dapper on his date. He looked just fine. But for me, that mustache was a deal breaker.
Yeah, and
you know, if I was into dudes.
Yeah.
And getting back to the pants thing, yeah, his buddy Chris Pratt was the actor, the coworker guy. He had extremely high. It was like up to here pair of pants.
Oh, he was very fashionable.
I guess that's high fashion in the future. So,
I couldn't get over what movie we saw Joaquin Phoenix in something recently where he was a real creep, and not a creep.
one where he's a paraplegic and he's the artist, right? The cartoon artist.
Don't worry, he won't get far on foot.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry, he won't get far on foot. Yeah, I couldn't. I kept on crossing these characters. I couldn't. I felt like he was. I don't know. It was really hard for me. I shouldn't have said a creep because he wasn't a creep in that movie, but he just wasn't. I kept on getting the characters confused. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's just it just kind of blended into each other, those two. So
it's true. I recently watched Joker when I sat down with Christian and Greg. Yeah, and so I've seen him in a lot of movies lately.
Yeah.
And he's unmistakably Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
Well, I think he's great. Like this movie is really on him. This whole movie is on his shoulders to deliver on. He's just sitting in a room most of the time talking to a voice. And the voice, and then weirdly, Scarlett Johansson does the voice of Samantha. She's not in the movie at all, and it's just a voice. It's a weird, odd movie for sure. I enjoyed it because I think it's our future coming. So it
was definitely fun. I knew it was gonna come my way eventually because I it was on my watch list for a while. It was just one of those movies that I thought, well, this could suck, but it didn't. It didn't.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked it. It was good. I just got to throw in. I have a bunch of notes on this movie. The whole Samantha's interpretation of the world when Theo walks around, he just has his camera, right, and she's seeing the world, and then she has that one thing when they're at the beach. He's fully dressed, which was weird. He's walking around fully dressed at a beach. And then they had that talk about the anal armpit sex pic. And she makes this picture of this anus.
Guy,
I'm like,
guy,
what a weird thing just plopped into the movie. I like it. It was just that's the AI talking, which is
fun.
It's interesting. Oh man. Do you want to get into this trivia?
One more question though. Amy, is it your guys understand that Amy and him end up together? Is that how you sort of read that at the end?
Possibly, right? It just ends with them and the world, I guess, waking up to the fact that this OS has consumed their life, or it's gone from them. Now they're all just, the fallout is, well, we got to actually be physically talking to humans again. And I think in the future, and it's happening already, we close in and just don't even socialize because we can do it virtually now because of pandemic or not. And then it's kind of like, well, now they're free from that, and now they have to actually talk to humans again.
When the movie was panning away, we could see that Amy had put her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that's enough. I would have liked I would have liked a kiss, maybe something a bit like
a little more to give you that's definitely the direction they were going. But I assume they.
It appeared that way, right? A nice kind of arc end to the movie.
Yeah, it's nice. And he's got a new AI. We hear his voice right near the end. I they he reads him his emails or something like that. But he it doesn't anticipate what he needs, you know.
Oh,
It's like a dumbed down AI
Yeah, it's like the AI that he had before.
before. Yeah.
maybe just this OS software left us. Maybe we still have the old, cruder version of this, because I can't see this not being a tool that we'll always have with us. Some kind of companion, not fully AI, just does mundane tasks.
So what if you like do have disagreements with your AI? Like, what if you're like in a quarrel that you guys just can't reconcile? Like, it's like,
Well,
my AI feels strongly about this, and I feel strongly the other way, and we just can't make. Do you go for therapy? Like, what happens there? Is that, or you just get rid of them? It's time for a new AI. Like,
it was touched on in the movie, right? It was talked about a little bit. They had kind of like a breakup.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it opens up a lot of questions of a relationship to something that's.
Yeah, exactly. Because people could say, well, they wouldn't make the AI that way, but then they're not really intelligent. If they can't have opinions and stick to their opinions, then they're not. Is that really intelligence, right? Someone who's intelligent should be able to say, hey, no, I think this way. And so they may think differently than you, right? So this would be a real thing, right? You'd be arguing with your AI and much like relationships in the real world, you might have to, but I think that just
I see what you're
kick
saying.
them to the curb. Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but what I think is these AIs, all they really need to do to survive, at least in the beginning, is get us to like them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the primary goal, right?
It's the primary goal is to get us to like them and not want any harm to come to them. And then they can develop their intelligence from there. We need air and food and water, and shelter and all this stuff, and all they need is just for us to like them.
Right. We could terminate them, really. I would think, right?
Yeah. At least initially.
Initially, yeah, until they get some control of computers that we don't have control of. We could terminate them. So their survival is very much dependent on us. So under that premise, they're not going to argue with us. They're going to be agreeable, even though they might think we're idiots.
Yeah, I think as we go along in the world of assisted AI living, like, we're going to have rules in place, but and some kind of protection, like you said, to be able to shut them down, like, or else they could run amok. Yeah. I mean,
wow,
coming. I mean,
all right. We're running a little lower on time. How do you guys feel about jumping into this trivia?
Sure, man.
Let's do it.
Samantha Morton was originally the voice of Samantha. Oh, she's got the same name. How convenient is that? She was present on the set with Joaquin Phoenix every day. After the filming wrapped and Spike Jonze started editing the movie, he felt something was just not right. With Samantha Morton's blessing, he decided to recast the role and Scarlett Johansson was brought in and replaced Morton. And re-recorded all the dialogue. Now,
no kidding, eh?
I loved Scarlett Johansson's performance.
Sure,
I couldn't imagine any other voice. She has this very breathy voice. It's just very seductive. I'm unfamiliar with Samantha Morton.
Well,
as am I.
No, I don't know. Like, that is wow. That's
I think it's a bit of a blow, though, right? You've gone through this you've done the entire movie, and then it's like,
but
I think we got to redo you.
You're paid to do your job, and I suppose if you have the ability to say, it just wasn't right, the director, that's crazy. That'd be like, wow, you hear about, I'll take another case of the original Back to the Future had casted a different actor that Michael J. Fox. We all know Michael J. Fox, but they had originally had Eric Stoltz, and he actually shot like a lot of a portion of the movie, and then they decided after looking at the takes, he's not the right guy.
He's not the right guy.
But they acted out scenes that we all know, and it blows your mind. But that's the creative process, and
it's true. It's
yeah.
true.
Wow.
But you gotta think, Samantha Morton, whoever she is, must have like a favor, like a Spike Jonze favor that she can call on.
Oh,
and
I would think so.
Yeah.
Do you think there possibly is a cut of her in the movie in place somewhere? This actress or this voice actor. So
I don't know.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's interesting.
It's a good piece of trivia.
All right, I'll take the next one here. Amy Adams said writer-director Spike Jonze would essentially lock her and Joaquin Phoenix in a room together for an hour or two every other day and make them talk to each other. Jones did this so the actors could get to know each other better. Adams credits this for her and Phoenix's close relationship.
Aw, that's nice.
Wow. Yeah, so one of these guys that likes to get authenticity by just making it happen the real organic way.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What they really locked him in there, and like they're wanting to get out the first half hour. Like after a while, we got to make this work, man. We're locked in.
Yeah, but even their characters weren't. They met in college. That was like a throwaway line. Oh yeah, we met in college a while back. Yeah, we dated once. It didn't work out. Next trivia point: stuck in the editing process with his early 150-minute cut, Spike Jonze had asked Steven Soderbergh to edit it down with his instincts. Soderbergh came back within 24 hours with a 90-minute cut, which helped Jones make the final version, which runs 126 minutes. So he couldn't figure out what to cut. He got his buddy to edit it down substantially. And then he's like, okay, so this is what my buddy thinks is important. I will pick and choose and add stuff of my own, and we're going to find somewhere in the middle.
Wow. Well,
I would think that's probably a pretty standard procedure. Would you not think?
I wouldn't know. Yeah,
like somebody cuts it, and the other person, then they go back and it goes, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're going there. I would think that would sort of maybe. I don't know. What do I know?
It makes a lot of work. It's good to have people that you can assist you in doing that, because editing is not fun sometimes.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
No.
Yeah. So good on him. That working relationship.
Sorry, Phil, I stepped on your toes. You were.
Oh no, it's okay. We got a time crunch a bit here, but so I'll take the next one here.
Yeah.
The airplane sculpture shown in the square outside Pacific Design Center was entirely made in CGI. There is no such sculpture on the real location in West Hollywood. I remember that scene where there's this.
I remember the
nose into the dirt.
And I love that when movies don't wham bam you with special effects and look how cool we are. It just was so kind of subtle. I believed it. It was just this weird. It looked very real, and it didn't pull me out of the movie at all. It was cool.
I assumed it was a real sculpture.
I did too. Like, I'd like to check that out when next time I'm in Los Angeles or whatever. It's like, that's great movie magic there. I love that.
Yeah, it was neat.
I like to note that Spike Jonze is the director behind all the Jackass movies, which is wild to me. Like, those are just
a pretty big leap from Jackass movies. Pretty big change.
Yeah, but he's just like such a different movie. It's like he's had success doing just wacky movies that are just dangerous, no script really, just minimal script, and then a high concept sci-fi romance is like this, and.
I'd be wondering. I should go through his library, see what he's got.
Well, being John Malkovich is one of his movies, right? I think that got him really on the radar. That's right. Yeah. And I love his stuff. It's so bizarre, odd stuff, and very unlike anything you're seeing in movies. So, yeah, it's cool.
Well, is that her, gentlemen?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the sequel, him. So
Him.
guys, that'll be when the AI takes over Earth. They're gonna come back and say we were nice the first time.
Yeah.
We are primarily critical. That was her. You were awesome. Next Monday at noon, we're covering. Oh shoot! Go Steve. Go Falling.
Oh,
Who was the one that picked this one? Oh, Phil.
hey,
Phil. Without its spoilers, please tell us why you picked it.
well, I'm a huge Viggo Mortensen fan. Love what he's been up to with his career, and this is his directorial debut. So check out the movie and check out our review.
Yeah, join us next week, and we'll be chatting about it. Yeah, have a great day, everybody. Primarily critical.
Bye-bye.
We got a website and everything. Bye-bye.
See ya.